Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 34 of State of the Stash. I'm Shauna, and if you're new here, State of the Stash is my special series where I talk about all the yarn that has come in and out of my stash in a given month and then compared to the year overall. And my ultimate goal is to use up more stash than the yarn that I bring in. And every month that is a challenge. So let's see how my August went. Before I get into that, if you look right down below, you can find all the links to where you can find me. That includes Ravelry project pages for each project that I talk about, links to any yarn that I'm going to show. Also, I am wearing Look at My Holes by James N. Watts. I'm wearing this over a workout tank top. Just goes to show you that you can dress this up or down. And I just thought it would be nice to have some knitwear on other than just my workout clothes, which seems to be my life lately. Okay, let's jump right into August. I had such a busy month. I don't really know why, other than part of it was because I took some extra days off to celebrate my birthday. And instead of, going somewhere and peopling and doing all those things, I chose to stay home and knit a bunch. And let me tell you, that was my kind of vacation. So the first thing that I finished, I do not have a actual object to show you, but I do have a picture that I will insert. I made a second emotional support chicken. My friend's daughter really wanted one, and I was happy to knit her one. And I keep getting update pictures, and that girl loves that chicken, and my little knitter's heart could not be any more happy to see someone truly enjoying something that I made for them. That's very special. So let's see. Emotional support chicken I made completely out of stash. It was Knit Picks Preciosa in Anemone and Pokeberry, and the red and the yellow were my same Knit Picks Wool of the Andes that I used on Penny over there. Ooh, how do I point? I can't put that there. So this second emotional support chicken used 84 grams from stash. Then I had some yarn come into stash, and this is what I have left of that yarn. I actually originally got 4 balls of this. It's Drops Kid Silk Mohair in color 51. And on the Lindy Hobby website, they call this Toffee. So I don't know if it's called Toffee anywhere else, but that's what they call it. And I think it's a fitting name. So my 4 original balls were 93 grams. They should have been 100, but I weighed them and 93. So 93 grams went into my stash. I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward this. I try and go in order, but it kind of makes sense if I just tell you about the project. I immediately cast on because I ordered that yarn for a very specific project. There's no good way to show you this. This is the Pappus Shrug by Midori Hirose, and it's just a shrug, if you know what a shrug is. There's no top or bottom, just this open section, and you throw it on. Let's see, I don't know. It should fit over this sweater, I think. I'm going to have fuzz on fuzz because my Look at My Holes is also a mohair blend yarn. So here we go. That actually fits quite good. So anyway, this is the shrug finished. But before I could finish it, I had to order more yarn, and I'm stuck. Okay, so I had to order 2 more skeins of this, which were 47 grams. So let's see, how are we going to do this for numbers? Because I always pop up the numbers, and I don't know off the top of my head. Is it 150? I think exactly, because 93 plus 47. Unless I can't do math, which is totally possible. So anyway, that came into my stash, and then I finished the shrug, and this used 99 grams of yarn. So I wish I wouldn't have had to order the next 2 skeins, because if I would have had full 25-gram balls of this originally, I would have had exactly enough, but stuff happens, I guess. But this is a pretty color, and I'm sure I will find a use for it. Okay, the next thing I finished were the Delectable collectible socks. This was Stephen West's Surprise Sock Along Mystery Sock for 2025. I used a pack of 5 Knit Picks Stroll Tweed minis, and it's in the color combination called Afternoon Tea. I used a total of 77 grams for these. And then I finished a very old WIP, which makes me so happy. This is the Harlow worsted that I finished for my husband, and I started this in December of 2021, so it was high time that it got off the needles, and once I started working on it, it was so fast, I have no idea what my hesitation was. But this used 72 grams out of stash. The yarn is Knit Picks Wool Ease, no, not Knit Picks, Lion Brand Wool Ease, and I think it's like Blue Heather and, no, Blue Mist and Gray Heather. Those were the colors. Then I finished something else. I cast on and finished these hand spun socks, approximately DK weight. I knit them at a DK gauge on August 21st and finished them August 23rd. So these were a quick knit. These used exactly 100 grams. So the yellow that you see is not hand spun. That is Knit Picks Stroll in the color Dandelion, and it's doubled, and then the hand spun is held single. And then I got my August Cuddle Bums yarns. Those are so pretty. So this was 31 5-gram minis added into my stash for a total of 155 grams in. And we're not quite done yet, because I still have to show you all of the sections that I finished in my Marled Magic blanket. And it's getting more and more difficult to show you this thing. So let's see here. I finished section 6, which goes from this green stripe over here all the way to the green stripe over here. That was section 6, and that used 146 grams of yarn just in that section. Then I finished section 7, which is this orange and tan, or coral and tan brioche. This used 45 grams. And then I did section 8, which is this green section, and that used 137 grams. Do you see how great this blanket is for stash busting? And I'm so glad that I chose to count each section out as I finish it, because it is so motivating to keep going. I'm not done yet either. Then I finished section 9, which is this huge triangle. And this so far was the biggest section, I'm sure stitch-wise, but also obviously yarn-wise. This used 202 grams out of stash. And last section, section 10, is this red section right here. And that used 52 grams of yarn. So I love that project for many, many reasons. I love the color play. I love changing up stitches. I love counting yarn out of my stash. Like, there's nothing about that that I don't love. And we're starting to get into some little bit cooler weather, and for sure the much colder weather is on the way. So that's going to be very nice to have on top of me while I'm knitting it this winter. that was everything that came in and out of my stash for the month of August. So total in with the Drops Kids Silk Mohair and the Cuddle Bums was 295 grams. So almost 3 skeins of yarn in. And when I say skeins, I don't mean like, those mohairs were 25 grams. I just estimate 100 grams is a skein. Out, we had a total of 1,014 grams. So about 10 skeins out of stash. The difference between those two numbers, in and out, was negative 719 grams. So more than 7 skeins of yarn out than what came in, which is fabulous. I didn't look to see. That might be my best month for 2025 altogether. Actually, I have it right in front of me. Let me just double check. Oh no, I actually beat that number in June. I was 789. So still really good though. That means my summer is going crazy. I'll take it. Okay, so now for the year, all 8 months of the year so far, I am, for the first time, I think, in a long, long time, maybe ever, I am negative for the year. I'm at negative 549. So about 5.5 skeins have come out of my stash, more than what has come in. And that is such a feeling to be reaching my goals. I still know that I've got Advents coming in, and as it stands right this moment, Advents are going to completely destroy my numbers, but I'm still working towards it. I'm still making good progress. Our life situation is changing here actually this month. My husband starts school, meaning he will be working very little, and most of the bills will be my responsibility. So that means I have less extra yarn money to be spending, and if anything, I'm just looking at it as a positive, in that I can work on my goals and really buckle down and start using a lot more stash than what comes in. That being said, I still have my Cuddle Bums coming, but I don't quite know how that's going to work, or if it's going to work. I haven't heard anything from the dyer from Cuddle Bums, so I assume she's still shipping to the US. I was still auto billed, so that's a thing. And yeah, I just don't know when it arrives here in the US, if there's going to be tariffs, what the tariffs are going to be. So that's a little concerning, because I've seen some things that say could be up to $80 per package, which if I had to pay $80 for yarn that didn't even cost $80, that will be the last package that I pay for sure, because that's just not doable. But if I can still keep them coming in, and it's like the 10%, which is the other number that I've heard, I can probably manage 10%. So I plan on still having those come in, unless that $80 thing, or it just can't ship here. But we'll see. Everything's up in the air at this moment. Yes, I know there are a lot of US yarn dyers that I could get yarn from, but I just feel right at this moment that my options are limited. And I say that because I know a lot of the US dyers that I know of are indie dyers, and I do like indie dyed yarn, but I also do like a commercial yarn as well. So I do get yarn at times from Holst, from Lindy Hobby. That was a new one for me. From Hobby Yarn, and well, obviously Cuddle Bums. I feel like there's others, but yeah, I get a lot of my yarn actually from outside the US. So whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but it definitely changes my purchasing habits. So that being said, going forward, I expect my out numbers to be good, but we'll see. You never know what's going to happen. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that you are reaching your yarn purchasing or using goals, whatever they may be. And I hope that you're having a wonderful day. I forgot to mention, it's September 1st. It's Labor Day, so I'm off work, and I was actually able to record on the 1st of the month. That rarely happens. All right, that's it for real. I will talk to you soon. Bye.